Hi, everybody. This is Jeff Fry from Talent Path, and I'm coming to you with another consultant interview, an individual who has been all the way through the program. Hi, Ralph.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. Just enjoying, the weather and just keeping busy at work.
Yeah, it's great. So I want to talk to you about that. I want to talk to you about work, not the weather, the work. Um, so I obviously got to know you fairly well as you went through the program at Talent Path, and then even afterwards, we were able to connect on a few things, and I would love for you to be able to introduce yourself to some the folks who are watching this, and then we'll talk a little bit about your work and your journey. But tell me about prior to Talent Path, before you knew who we were. What were you up to? Degrees or jobs or anything like that? Give me kind of who you were before Talent Path.
Yeah, for sure. So, prior to Talent Path, well, first of all, studied at Texas A&M. I was an econ major, minor in business administration. But a little bit prior to that, I had some computer science knowledge while I was in high school. I was doing a dual enrollment degree involving my high school and one of our colleges uh, where I'm from, and so it entailed more of the computer science background. But then again, I guess later as I got closer to college, I felt like, oh, you know what, I want to do something more with more of strictly data, but yet still keep it on the business side. So yeah, so that's when I ended up going to A&M and then getting my bachelor's in economics, and then with that minor. But along the way, and even a little bit shortly after graduation, I held about three internships. One of the first ones I did was I was a business operations intern for an electric cooperative. So there, I knew I was working more with I was getting a feel of like ERPs and a little bit of a data analysis and kind of getting an idea about the energy industry.
Sure.
And then my second internship was more about more strictly research. So a research internship that I actually held while I was on campus at Texas A&M. I got to do an even deeper dive, with like PhD students, on like more statistical analysis, and pretty great outcome after that internship because once my internship finished, we were able to publish an article for one of the school academic journals. And then just right before Talent Path, I was finally an intern at HP. So there I was a product management intern. So I got to know a lot more of, more business stuff, as far as like marketing and finance. And, and one of my biggest projects that I was working on there was actually more of a code. And, it was something that I knew that I was glad that I was getting more involved with, technology was because my manager at the time had told me like, hey, you know what, you stood out compared to the rest was because, you had that technology background, than a lot of people that were just, solely focused on business. And so, because I had, that kind of a development and still technical background, that's why I was able to, successfully, deploy a more of a developmental project, there, while I was there at HP. And then finally, I get to Talent Path, and then that's when, I kind of put all of my prior experiences together,
Pieces together. Yeah.
and, yeah, I put them all together. I was like, hey, you know what? I love business, but I really like doing working with data. But working with data, that's going to consist of more technical skills.
Yeah.
That falls pretty much in the technology division. And so that was something that I kind of went in not knowing that more of the data analysis, business analysis stuff still yet involved the technology side to it. And so I knew that that was the part that I was kind of lacking. And so once I got to Talent Path, I felt like, from the get-go, I knew that this was going to be something that was definitely going to, bridge that gap, and fill in all of the missing parts that I still needed to, to either become a successful business analyst or, a successful consultant, because like I said prior, I knew I wanted to, somehow be a BA or, somehow go into consulting and, trying to solve these different use case scenarios for businesses or companies. So, and that's when I got to the talent path. So do you
That's
want me to go more into that?
Yeah, you know what? I want to come back to the internships at some point, but I'd like to leapfrog over Talent Path.
Okay.
You're past the program. You're in a position now. Tell me, that's how you were pre, now post Talent Path. Tell me about a day in the life of Ralph. Like what 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 happens? What do you do? What's your job like? What are you up to? For folks who might be looking at this and wondering, what kind of positions do we help people acquire? What does that look like? Why don't you give us a little idea of who you are now and what you're doing, what you're up to?
Yeah, sure. So I am currently working at Cisco at their headquarters in the Energy Corridor, Houston, Texas. My title is Associate Software Engineer, but well, just like a developer, pretty much. But yet, I still play the role of a BA and a developer. So that's why I was mentioning to you. That's why I really like doing what I do, because I put in a lot of stuff that I've already learned from Talent Path, and then a lot of on the job learning that from once I first started at Cisco. I just already put it all together. So yeah, so pretty much I am on the Salesforce team and the Talk Desk team. So primarily my team is I would say is the Talk Desk team. So what Talk Desk is, it's a telephony cloud software that we're currently utilizing today throughout all of our U.S. broadline. So pretty much throughout the nation, we're using that. And so when I first got onto Talent Path, I'm sorry, when I first got into Cisco, got placed there, Cisco was in the process of rolling this software out to all of the nation. And so it's a great accomplishment for me to say that once they went live with it, I was a huge factor into that success. And still today, we're deploying it throughout different subsidiary companies that Cisco has. Even throughout, we're going, I guess, live in a couple of months with our Canada office. So that's pretty cool. So you can say in a way it's kind of like our international team. And then so I work with that. I do a lot of the development and the configuration for that, maintain it, make sure everything's going as smoothly as possible, keeping up with the reporting and the metrics for all these different teams. Try to help out all of these managers and directors, and and try to figure out architecturally what are some best practices that we can do on our end to enhance that customer experience and user experience. And
Sure.
then the other part of me is on the Salesforce team. So pretty much my day is split half and half. I try to work on my Talk Desk stuff first, and then I'll probably go to my Talk Desk stuff, or most of the time it's interchangeably throughout the day. But I try to space them out evenly. So on on the Salesforce side, as you know, that's the main CRM of Cisco. And so on the Salesforce team, what I primarily do is I help out with a lot of stories or assignments or tasks, as you say, because they
Yeah.
do run in a agile environment. So a lot of the stuff that I do enhances that user experience for Salesforce, for our for sales and for service. And
Yeah.
so a lot of it entails, some configuration through Salesforce, some process optimization, and then some parts even code. So the beauty of it is, like we've been talking about, I mean, it's different things that I get to work on,
Yeah.
different assignments that I get to work on. So like I said, it's never the same for me. So every day, probably facing a different set of challenges, but it's always a great thing.
Yeah, and you like that, and that works for you, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you were talking about something you mentioned. You're doing the development, and you've got this title, right? But you're doing a lot of that business analysis and work as well. I tell people
That's
often
correct.
that uh, gone. I mean, I was a heads down coder when I first got out of college. My first job, heads down coder, shove food under the door, don't make eye contact with anybody. I love that job, by the way. Um, but I often tell people And there's still positions out there like that, but
Mhm.
we're seeing more and more that gone are the days of the heads down coder, right? You've even though you're working in software development, you've got to be able to meet with users or gather requirements, or at the end of it, the day, articulate the value of your work, right, and present it out. And you're telling me in your position right now firsthand that that's exactly who you are and what you have to do, right? You're doing some development, but you've got to be able to do the requirements. You've got to be able to, I mean, you said user experience and stories with Agile and things like that. So that's really interesting that we have a firsthand account of somebody that's proving my point.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's definitely, like you said, that all around experience, because we start off with the requirements, we do the work, and then finally do the demos, or do we go through with the whole live environment, and then maintain it, making sure everything is gets properly deployed and things like that. So to me, real overview, you just see all three phases of it, or you see it the whole way through. So
Yeah.
I like it.
So head back to those internships. We talk about people who at Talent Path, a lot of times we talk about people who have internships and potentially go through those internships, but then maybe don't land the job after the internship, right? The internship was great and I benefited from it and all that. Do you feel like obviously those internships gave you exposure to certain things? Were they ever going to land into a job? Did you want to get a job at any of those places that give you an internship? I know I'm springing a kind of a fuzzy question
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
but tell me a little bit more about those internships. Was that hopeful that they would turn into a job? Did you just want to gain the experience? Tell me about the internships a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, for sure. So the first two that I had with the electric cooperative and the research internship with A&M, they were both during school. So for me, I was kind of doing it more for the experience.
Mhm.
And then when I actually did the HP internship, so that was coming up close to like my last semester of A&M. So when I had applied for the internship at HP, uh, I thought it was going to be, for the semester that was coming up, and so that way I could do it kind of like as a co-op.
Sure.
But it didn't end up turning out that way. It ended up being for the summer, and it was like after I had graduated. So for me, I was like, oh, okay, well, one, it's HB. So I was like, in a way, I still want to go through with the experience, even though it is going to be coming after my graduation, when I thought it was going to be coming prior. But yeah, no, so following that last one, for me, it was more of the more technical side. So of course I loved doing my project, like we just mentioned, doing the coding. I liked it because for me, I hadn't touched code in a while, maybe
Mm.
since like early college, or while I was in high school. So it brought me back those memories, and it made me realize that, hey, you know what, uh, this project really opened my eyes and saying, hey, you know what, like, I love doing this whole business requirements thing. I want to take something, tailor it to the way you want it, work on it myself. I don't want to send it to pretty much somebody else to
Yeah.
do. I'd rather just do it myself and see it through. And so, that's when, is there even a role like that? I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't know about business analysts. I didn't know what they were.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, during that time while I was interning, I was looking at like, hey, what kind of job does it take to be someone like this?
Got it.
And so, that's when I realized it was somebody who was like, plays the role of a business analyst. And so,
Yeah.
everything just fell into place, when I got reached out, about the opportunity. I was like, hey, you know what, these are a lot of the technical skills and gaps that, I didn't get, in any prior experience, especially while I was in school.
Yeah. It's good. Okay, so now to Talent Path. There's a where you were and where you are. There's a gap between there, obviously, that we didn't talk about. And
Yeah.
so two things real quick. One, give me a little bit about Talent Path experience. I mean, obviously, I know, but give other people an idea of the Talent Path experience. Any thoughts you have around it or that. But then, if you did a lot of work, obviously and I know everybody does a whole lot of work in the Talent Path. Obviously, that's how it works. But um, you said in your internship that you had stood out, and I think some of those experiences and things, and just the person that you are, you stood out in the Talent Path program as well. Obviously, so you did a lot of work to get there, but talent path hopefully provided you some sort of platform to be able to excel and succeed. So if you could do two things for me: one, a little bit about the talent path experience, and then sprinkle in there how it might have helped you. How did talent path at all help you get from where you were to where you are today? Mix those two things together however you want.
Yeah, yeah,
Give me
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah, for
little bit of
sure.
that. So how
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that help you?
Yeah, so pretty much Talent Path, prepared me to be, if I could put in one title, I mean, a business analyst consultant. Why? Because business analysts, we're all coming from these business backgrounds, but at the same time, we needed more of that technical experience. And then consultant part, because, we knew that we were going to go out to, different clients or companies, to try to help whatever situation or problem that they may be having, no matter what kind of aspect it was going to be. And so with Talent Path, it really helped me brush up, and improve on a lot of skills that I already had. And then I'll get to net new skills. So skills that I already had, I would definitely say, public speaking. Public speaking was one that I knew that, I had a lot of experience in college with it, but when I get to Talent Path, you're in a whole new different world. You are doing this in front of, big important people. So, the nerves they kick in after a while, So yeah. So no, yeah. So definitely with Talent Path, it really helped me, be really, really confident, in any kind of public speaking. And it goes to show with, with what I do today, as far as like demos. So, and a lot of meetings that I have to host and things like that. So I would say definitely with demos, because you got to give a really good presentation, of, the work you did. You got to have some pride in it too,
Sure.
and things like that. And of course, taking in the feedback, same thing. I like the way that everybody at Tom Path coached us, as far as like, you get the coaching from your peers, and you also get it from, like people like yourselves, like you and Jamal and things like that. Different kind of people, other people who already experienced consultants came in and give you that kind of feedback. I really like that, and it ties in a lot to today. With my job now, my coworkers, they also look out for me. They always say, hey, you know what, you should try this. If you ever want to, it just, a heads up or a tip, things like that. I really appreciate those. My directors as well. They always send me like really good resources and things like that. If I ever, which they know I want to definitely improve in what and all that I do. And then let me see, Microsoft Excel. So Excel, I kind of knew, I would say I had a pretty good understanding of Excel just because of my major. I mean, we did a lot of data analysis and statistics and things like that. But Talent Path definitely brushed me up more on the use case scenarios that you will probably face, with the client, So I really enjoyed that aspect, and it really set the bar straight, like, hey, this is where you should be at, with Excel. And to me, at that point, I was like, what, I did a pretty good job coming into it, but with these additional, things that they talk about with Excel, like that's even better. And then let me see, two more things. So one thing I would definitely say is, I'll say one more first. So I would definitely say SQL. So for SQL, I knew that, to be, whether to be a data analyst kind of role, I knew you had to, kind of had to have an idea of what SQL was, and which I did. But coming into Talent Path, I think, we were definitely trained, with such a great experience from somebody who started off in our shoes. And I know Evan did a really good job. And, I still take into consideration a lot of the resources that he provided to us, such as like Overstack and things like that. Here and there, I'll go over there because I know today not a lot of times, well, lately within the last couple of months, I've been having to, do some queries in our Salesforce database, which it's called SOQL, SOQL. And so that's what it's called for us in Salesforce, So I'm taking all that stuff that I learned back in Talent Path, trying to remember the queries, and things like that, to pull up, specific accounts that, need to be updated in some kind of way. So that's definitely carried over. But, a lot of the business acumen that we learned, from Evan, that's that's also as well carried over. And one more with data viz, with data analysis with Tableau. I haven't worked with Tableau since I've been at Cisco, but there is, I mean, what I've learned is, the importance of understanding of a BI tool, and so since I've been at Cisco, I mean, the BI tools that I've worked with is Power BI. I did use Power BI pretty frequently while I first started off at Cisco. And then now with one of the BI softwares that I use on a daily basis is Looker. So Looker is something that's actually integrated with one of the softwares that we use today. So I do a lot of reporting and dashboard analysis in Looker. So I think that's a pretty big one. But still, that data viz acumen also carries over to pretty much anyone. It tells you, what to look for within your data. What kind of visualizations need to be present, and what are you trying to convey. Things like that. And then I would say finally, definitely that technical aspect. Just from Talent Pad, they really taught me how to be able to adapt. To different things that come your way. And the reason why I say that is because I knew about all of these different software. For example, Oracle software, Salesforce, Hadoop, and things like that. But I didn't know, the high level detailed basics as far as like, what use case scenarios do they usually solve. So I know with Talent Path, they gave me a really broad idea about what each of those softwares do. And, and then today, like I said, at Cisco, I mean, I'm utilizing Salesforce every day. So I'm really glad I got a head start of it before. But yeah, no, definitely that technical gap was filled.
That's great. That's great. Well, I'll put you on the spot here at the end and just ask if you've got someone who's considering coming into the program, even a customer or a client who's considering hiring an individual. It could be multiple people watching clips like this. Any advice for anybody that's looking at Talent Path and going, talent, what is that? I don't know what that is. I mean, anything that you would want to say to folks who are looking at it and wondering what we're up to and what we're doing. You got anything to say to them?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say that the BA consultants are, they're definitely hardworking. They're always willing to learn, and that they're always, willing to face challenges, to overcome any challenges and things like that, or any obstacles, that we definitely do our homework. If there's anything that we don't know, we're always, going to find the answer for you. But yeah.
That's good. That's good. Well, thank you, Ralph, for doing this. I really appreciate it. I know that folks are going to watch it and they're going to benefit from it. So I appreciate your time and congratulations on your success. We will continue to follow it and just keep in touch.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot, Jeff, for having me.
All right. Take care. Bye.